crowd at Gainesville. Man, that's historic.
They understand drag racing. I'm pretty sure most of the people there aren't first timers. You know, they've been doing this they've been coming there for, 40, 50 years.
It feels like all the people come out of woodworks from nowhere. It feels like I've knocked an ant pile over and all the ants are coming out.
Everybody's having a great time out there, huge turnout, and it just makes it probably one of the more enjoyable races that we go to all year long.
The body comes down, and a lot of the crowd is really blocked out from the driver's perspective, but you know they're there. You know they're cheering, you know they're standing up, and as a driver, boy, I tell you, that's all the energy you need to go out there and do your job.
Well, the racers respect this place, and they should. The fans do as well. Gainesville Raceway, the NHRA Full Throttle Drag Racing Series at the Tire Kingdom Gatornationals. The best of friends on the line, Bob Tasca and Tony Pedregon. Boy, did you see Tony Pedregon go in there deep? Nothing worked for him, though. Bob Tasca runs a 4:33, 253 miles an hour to take the win.
The tire loose. A long way, boy. I stayed it to the floor, baby.
Big spin down there, huh? Was it spinning?
Well, that's crew
Tasca
chief
on the radio.
Chris Cunningham was talking to Bob on the radio, and it was definitely spinning the tires down track. But luckily for Bob, Tony Pedregon was spinning the tires as soon as he hit the throttle. As you said, he did roll in deep, put that pre-stage light out. That was to give him a reaction time advantage, which it did, but then it was all over after that. Tell you, Bob Tasca, had a nice run going early, had some good, middle of the road early numbers, and then down track you're going to see as he locks a clutch up just around half track, it starts spinning the tires and slowed it down considerably. That's why he only went 433 at 253 miles per hour. Right there, see the back end just jump up and start spinning the tires, but it was still good enough to get the win.
Here's the Lucas Oil funny car ladder. And special attention down there. Cruz Pedregon, the #1 qualifier, our #5 qualifier, had a great car in qualifying as he did at Pomona. Caps and Cruz are both former Gatornationals winners.
On the other side of the ladder, the teammates. Robert Height's going to race the boss, John Force. John Force will have lane choice in that matchup.
So it's funny car. We're already into the session. Seen the first pair go down the track, and here is Johnny Gray and Paul Lee. You look at Johnny Gray, he qualified second in Pomona, but he lost in the first round. Lee Beard, his crew chief. Lee won the Gatornationals with funny car driver Whit Bazemore in 05. And there's Paul Lee driving for your dad.
Yeah, and Paul Lee's got a good chance in this race right now. Johnny Gray's your #4 qualifier. Paul Lee comes in obviously worse than that, but Lee Beard basically only got down the track on the very first session this weekend and then struggled. Now the good news is we see a very good racetrack out there. That means it's pretty forgiving. Lee Beard still makes a lot of horsepower, still trying to figure out that funny car a little bit after a slight layoff. He's as good as anybody out there. He will get it figured out. Right now he's always gotten it figured out for this race against Paul Lee.
Oh, we got a pedal fest! And it resolves out to Johnny Gray, 498, 257. A little dejected Jim Dunn walks away.
Yeah, it looked like they probably had it. Problem was the car supercharger backfired, and when that did, it deployed the parachutes, which is a safety device. As you watch on the right side of your screen, you're going to see after the launch, as it goes down track, Johnny Gray spins the tires first, had a cylinder out early. Shortly after that, Paul Lee spun the tires and then backfired the supercharger. And when that did, it deployed the parachutes. He was pretty much just dead in the water at that point. For Johnny Gray, it was a good thing that he was able to get back under power. The engine responded, and he was able to get the win. Look at that backfire supercharger. Yep, that'll do it every time. Tough break.
And look at that, the cost of such a thing.
About $15,000 to $16,000 just for the supercharger sitting on top of that fuel motor. Now let's take a look at Johnny Gray. Two things happened here. You're going to look over here, the cylinder goes out. And what happened there is it drove the car to the right. So your wheel speed's down. And then not only that, but it's going over to the right out of the groove. So then it just goes up there and started to get loose. Johnny Gray did a good job of pedaling that thing early to keep it from getting more out of control. And I think that enabled him to get the win.
Jack Beckman closest to you. Brian Thiel over on the other side. Let's send you to John Kernan.
Well, NASCAR's Kurt Busch is getting ready for his first race in pro stock competition, taking on Erica Enders in just a few moments. And Kurt, are there any nerves at all about doing something so new to you?
There are the nerves, but it's been a great weekend. For us to qualify, for one thing, that was our main objective. Now we're in eliminations. This is Sunday, and you can just feel the different atmosphere here in NHRA on what it means to be part of Sunday's activity. So we're stoked. We're excited. I've had a great group of guys, great sponsors, and heck, it's been a great ride, but now it's time. We got to go up there and lay down a good lap as well as cut a good tree.
Well, he's in somewhat familiar territory. Erica Enders' number is 48. In NASCAR, the last 5 years, everybody's been chasing the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson for the championship.
And Mike Dunn, you think he can do it? We're going to see that shortly.
And he's done a good job up to this point. Like he said, the key will be the reaction time off the starting line. He's done a great job of getting the car down the racetrack.
Just got to ignore that other lane. They call him Fast Jack, Jack Beckman. His 5th race here, but just 1 round win in the prior races. Brian Thiel made his season debut at the Winter Nationals. And that's all Jack Beckman. Thiel, first time to try it down the track, made the season debut, but was a DNQ.
That was a fun ride, guys. What a run.
Tony Schumacher's pit. The last time he won was at the Vegas race in the fall. Here, he's a 4-time winner. He's going up against Doug Fuller. Early this morning in the chilly air, Darrell Gwynn, your buddy, led this walk for his Darrell Gwynn Foundation, and everybody was there for it.
And Darrell does such a great job with that foundation. And his wife, Lisa, and daughter, Katie, were up there with a number of fans and stars of our sport walking down the track. Just a great, that's a fun deal for a lot of people. A lot of people have done that and said they love that.
On the line now in funny car, Jim Head and Mike Neff. Castrol car, he is the Castrol GTX. High mileage, one to watch, Mike.
Picked him because he ran the fastest pass in qualifying. 2 quickest runs yesterday. He was the co-crew chief on this car with John Force. That led him to his 15th championship. He has 1 career win. That was in the finals of Pomona, but he looked very good this weekend in qualifying.
Seems really comfortable with both racing and being the chief on the car. Does it well. Mike Neff over Jim Head, 409, 308. That's Bernie Federley talking to him.
Yep, another consistent run for Mike Neff. As you take another look at it, give credit to Jim Head. He made a nice pass. Both cars were pretty much dead even off of the starting line, and Mike Neff just had a little bit more through the middle of the racetrack, and that was the difference. They were running about the same speed at the top end, 308 to 307, but that 4:09 elapsed time was able to drive around Jim Head and get the win.
Coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series. We're talking Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee. Starts Saturday at 1 o'clock on ESPN. Bob Bodie and Matt Hagan. Let's send you to John Kernan.
Erica Enders back in the pits waiting for her first round matchup against Kurt Busch. And, you know, he's gotten a lot of attention being a NASCAR guy coming down here. What's it like facing him in the first round? Are you nervous too?
No, I mean, it doesn't matter who's in the other lane. I told the guys yesterday, every Sunday I've got to go up and race myself. No matter who's over there, I got to go up, cut a light, hit my shift points, and get the car stopped safely. And, you know, hopefully at the end of the day we'll come out on top. But and we'd like to be the number 48 car that you can't beat. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's great for the sport. It's getting pro stock a lot of attention that we didn't get before. And they're tough cars to drive, and I'm glad that we could shed a light on it. And maybe one of us can go over and drive NASCAR one day. That would be a fun trade.
Yes, it would. Thanks, Erica.
Now, this morning, Kurt Busch told me that he had to do exactly what she just said. Easier said than done, though, Mike.
Yeah, he knows all of how the process is supposed to go. Take a look at Bob Boyd. They're having some issues here, trying to get something tied down. It looks like the overall breather overflow didn't have a clamp on it, and that could be bad. Oil would come out there with that new rule. You put oil on the track, and that could be a problem.
Rick Stewart, the official starter for the NHRA. Both cars in position now. 50th race day start for Matt Hagan. Win goes to Hagan. 409, 305 to a losing 420 for Bob Bodie. Just laid down the track slow.
Yeah, just didn't accelerate like that diehard car does, but that's
not many do.
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna say that, and Bodie did a good job, but Matt Hagan, just that 409, 305 was just too much for him.
Well, coming up, Cruz Pedregon, Ron Capps. Time for our Sounds of the Strip.
Everybody's stuff out here. That car is just a handful, man. It's up on the tire, ready to go everywhere but straight sometimes, and the clutch is coming in.
Look at that. Had a good race at the start, but then Capps faltered. Cruz runs a 4:16, 307-mile-an-hour pass. So how are the lanes doing? They both seem to be pretty good, Mike.
They both seem to be pretty good, but it's 14-0 left to right, and I tell you what, there is a little bit of an issue in the right lane about 100 feet out as far as getting that applications. We take another look at the launch here on a double wheelie bar on the funny car of Cruz Pedregon. He carried the front end pretty nice, and look at it rattle the tires. Oh, it looks like he almost pedaled it. He did pedal that thing and still went a 4:16 at 3:07. That's a nice job.
Well, you saw a moment ago a little change made on Robert Height's car as they came to the line. There is Height. John Force is coming up too.